I have always dreamed of building my own igloo and spending a night inside, surrounded by the freezing wilderness. As a child, I was fascinated by stories of explorers and indigenous communities who thrived in the cold using only their skills and knowledge. Today, that childhood dream becomes a reality. I have set out on a solo survival challenge, where I will construct my very own igloo and put my endurance to the test against the harsh winter night. The adventure begins on a crisp winter morning. The air is freezing, and the landscape is covered in a thick, untouched blanket of snow. The trees stand tall, their branches heavy with frost, and the distant mountains glisten under the pale sunlight. As I take my first steps into this winter wonderland, I can hear the satisfying crunch of snow beneath my boots. After scouting for a good location, I find a relatively flat area sheltered from strong winds. This will be the perfect spot to build my igloo. I drop my backpack and take a deep breath, preparing myself for the long and challenging task ahead. The sun is already making its way down, and I have limited daylight to complete my shelter before nightfall. The first step in constructing an igloo is to gather and cut blocks of snow. I use my snow saw to carefully carve out large chunks of compacted snow, making sure they are thick and sturdy enough to support the weight of the structure. Each block needs to be shaped properly so they fit snugly together. This process is both physically demanding and time-consuming, but I remain focused and determined. As I lift the first block and set it in place, I feel a surge of excitement. Piece by piece, the foundation of my igloo starts to take shape. I continue cutting, stacking, and shaping the snow, making sure each layer spirals upward in a dome-like formation. The key to a strong igloo is ensuring that each block leans slightly inward, allowing gravity to hold everything together. After hours of hard work, the walls of my igloo are finally rising. I carefully carve and adjust the blocks to make sure there are no large gaps where the cold wind can seep through. With each layer, the structure becomes more stable and insulated. The last step is to place the keystone, the final block that seals the dome. I shape it perfectly to fit the remaining space and gently set it in place. The moment the keystone locks everything together, I feel an incredible sense of accomplishment. My igloo is now complete. It stands strong against the elements, and I can't wait to experience what it's like to sleep inside. Now that the main structure is done, I carve out a small entrance tunnel at the base. This allows me to crawl in and out while keeping cold air from rushing inside. Next, I smooth out the interior walls to prevent any snow from falling. The inside of the igloo is surprisingly spacious and well insulated. Even though the temperature outside is brutally cold, inside the igloo, it feels much warmer thanks to the trapped air and compacted snow. To make the space more comfortable, I lay down a thick layer of pine branches and a thermal sleeping pad. This will act as insulation and keep me off the freezing ground. I also use my backpack as a makeshift pillow and set up a small candle lantern to add a bit of warmth and light. With my shelter ready, it's time to prepare for the long, cold night ahead. I step outside to gather some firewood and quickly realize how extreme the temperatures have become. The wind is howling, and the temperature has dropped significantly. My breath turns into thick clouds of vapor, and my fingers start to go numb despite wearing gloves. I move quickly, collecting dry wood and returning to my igloo. Back inside, I light my candle lantern and take a moment to enjoy the peaceful silence. The thick walls of the igloo block out most of the outside noise, creating a cozy and safe atmosphere. I prepare a quick meal using my portable stove, melting snow for drinking water and heating up a simple but hearty meal. Eating warm food in such a cold environment feels incredibly satisfying, and I can feel my body regaining warmth. As the night progresses, I crawl into my sleeping bag and zip it up tightly. The temperature inside the igloo remains surprisingly stable compared to the bitter cold outside. I listen to the wind howling beyond my shelter and feel a deep sense of gratitude for the protection my igloo provides. Sleep does not come easily at first. The unfamiliar surroundings and the occasional cracking sound of the snow settling keep me alert. But after some time, exhaustion takes over, and I drift into a deep sleep, knowing that I have successfully built a warm refuge in the middle of the freezing wilderness. As the first light of dawn creeps into my igloo, I slowly wake up, feeling well-rested despite the challenging night. I crawl out of my shelter and step into the crisp morning air. The sky is painted with soft hues of pink and orange, and the snowy landscape looks more breathtaking than ever. Looking back at my igloo, I feel a great sense of accomplishment. What started as a childhood dream has now become a reality. I have proven to myself that with the right skills, knowledge, and determination, I can survive even in the harshest of environments. Before leaving, I take a moment to appreciate the beauty of nature and the lessons this experience has taught me. Survival is not just about enduring the elements, it's about adapting, learning, and respecting the environment. As I pack up my gear and take one last look at my igloo, I know this adventure will remain in my heart forever. It was not just about surviving the cold, it was about embracing the challenge and experiencing the raw power of nature firsthand. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed this adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more survival challenges.